At Canadian Pacific, our vision is to be the safest and most fluid railway in North America. Our equipment is new, our infrastructure is strong, and our technology is cutting edge. But it's the vigilance and dedication of our employees that set us apart from the rest. No job on our railway will ever be so important that we can't take the time to do it safely. From the executive suite and the operations management team to local safety, health and environment committees and frontline workers, safety is the foundation of our shared values.
Employees and employee training are the front line of safety at Canadian Pacific. Employees in safety-sensitive operating positions undergo skills and aptitude testing, interviews with senior operations staff, and government-regulated medical testing. A smart workforce is a safe workforce. CP is committed to providing the leadership, organization, training, and the resources necessary for the maintenance of a healthy and safe working environment. At CP, safety rules from top to bottom.
Today, safe and efficient rail traffic control at CP involves sophisticated computer programs, digital communications, highly trained rail traffic controllers, and the strict observance of orders issued to all operating employees.
3 control centers share the responsibility of traffic control at CP. They are the Network Management Center in Calgary and the Operations Centers in Montreal and Minneapolis. Before any train moves onto the main track, the crew must have the proper authorities from these centers. Train crews are in constant communication with the rail traffic control centers, and all conversations between trains and dispatchers are recorded.
Across our entire 13,800-mile transcontinental network, the railway is a neighbor to millions of people in the communities we serve. Our intention is to be a good neighbor. We take no shortcuts, and productivity never comes before safety.
Canadian Pacific been part of Golden's economy ever since the railroad was built over 100 years ago. But back in the early 80s, CPR decided to put in a coal car repair shop into Golden. This was very, very good for Golden as it diversified our economy. As a town, it's our responsibility to have an emergency plan in place. On a very regular basis, we do tabletop exercises. The town, the hospital, the Canadian Pacific Railway, other people that live here and do business here. Because if something is to happen, you better be prepared.
In the event of an accident, our emergency plans enable us to mobilize rapidly and work closely with first responders, police, fire, and ambulance services.
We prepare for emergencies by having an emergency operations plan in place and getting training to our employees, and we do exercises. So when we have an incident like we did in Lake City, we can work with the railroad, and Canadian Pacific fits right into the plan. It was obvious that Canadian Pacific's priorities were to help us in our response protect the community and the environment.
CP's robust internal policies, exacting specifications, and well-executed practices and procedures ensure we meet all standards prescribed by federal regulations.
In every aspect of our business, compliance with rules and regulations is critical. Rail is the safest form of overland transportation, and Canadian Pacific has been a leader in setting this trend. One CP train of 110 car lengths removes about 275 trucks from taxpayer-funded, congested highways, and it does so efficiently and safely.
Railways make a much more benign footprint than multi-lane highways, and trains carry their loads with the lowest environmental impact of all forms of land transportation.
Our trains can carry 1 ton of freight 168 kilometers on 1 liter of fuel, and that fuel efficiency translates into lower emissions. In Canada, all the Canadian railways combined contribute only 3% of greenhouse gas emissions to the transportation sector, and that is something we can all be proud of.
Our complex infrastructure is routinely and thoroughly maintained and inspected using the latest diagnostic tools.
All of the track and structures on our railway system must meet or exceed the federal regulations of both Canada and the US. And these are supplemented by our own standard practice circulars and our Red Book, which are our minimum standards that we maintain our railway network by. CP takes a preventative approach to maintenance. We make a real concentrated effort to correcting any of these potential infrastructure problems before they really become a situation that's going to impact our ability to move goods. Doing this requires a wide range of technology as well as practices by how we maintain our network.
Our mainline locomotives are among the most advanced in the world. Made primarily of steel, supplemented by high-strength aluminum and composite materials, tested under grueling conditions. All are equipped with ergonomically designed cabs. All have event recorders. And increasingly, these high-tech locomotives have built-in microprocessors that troubleshoot the units while in service.
I hired on 26 years ago, and when we hired on, we just sat on like a stool, and it was a noisy cab. The air was blowing in the cab all the time from the air brake. The whistle was on top of the cab, and we were always listening to that. And we couldn't really communicate back and forth too well because of the noise. A lot of times we had to yell back and forth at each other. Nowadays, we can talk just like we are now.
Safety, however, is not simply a function of technology and capital investment. CP's status as an industry leader in safety is in large measure due to the training and vigilance of its employees. From new hires to seasoned pros, CP employees make a personal commitment to safety for themselves, their co-workers, their neighbors in the community, and the environment.
Every person on the property is really coming together to make sure that no one gets hurt and that the environment remains intact.
I've been joining the railway from 28 years. It was totally different. Now, since there's awareness classes, the people are more aware what their responsibilities are, and they have to be more aware at the workplace.
If a newer employee isn't quite sure, then for sure we want them to go to a more experienced employee and ask those questions. And we don't want to have somebody out there guessing what they should be doing.
In operations, we take safety very seriously. We want everybody to go home at the end of the day in the same condition they came to work in. We value families, we value time with your family and friends, and we want our employees to work safely.
When it comes to watching out for one another, at Canadian Pacific, there are no artificial boundaries. Every employee has a role to play in building a culture of safety.
We've got to remember that when it comes to job briefings, it is the employee's responsibility, but we, the leaders, have to ensure that we are also part of that.
It's individual safety, it's not corporate safety. And if you can get all the individuals bought in, and then they band together as a team, and then they start looking out for each other, and everybody's eyes and ears, and everybody's working together to create a safe environment, then we'll operate the most efficient, safe railroad around.
As our traffic volumes and revenues have grown, so too has our safety awareness and our safety achievements. In 6 of the last 8 years, CP has had a lower accident rate than all other North American Class 1 railroads. Our personal injuries have been in steady decline and are now approaching record low annual levels.
Train accidents, I'm pleased to report that, again, the safest Class 1 railway in North America. As of today, across all of the railroads in North America. That's a huge accomplishment for us. Didn't happen again by accident. Hard work, good plans, execution, dedication, compliance to our 10 safety strategies, inputs on your individual safety plans on the service areas. One accident is one accident too many. One injury is one injury too many. And of course, one fatality is absolutely one fatality too many.
Our entire operations and support team knows that whatever the safety threat may be, we have a strict protocol to guide our actions.
The sequence is this simple. First, one always should take care of the safety of yourself and the people around you. Next, we must immediately take care of the communities and any other associates that we may be close by. Third, it's our responsibility to take care of the environment. We have no special rights. If there's a product or a substance that could be dripping into the earth, into a waterway, into a stream, that in some way could harm that, it is our absolute responsibility as a company and as individuals to stop that. Stop it immediately, as quickly and as well as we possibly can. Finally, if all those things are done and done in that sequence and done well, we can again start to run the railway. It's absolutely important that we understand this sequence. Take care of the people around you and yourself. take care of the communities, and take care of the environment.
At Canadian Pacific, safety is a policy, a culture, and a way of life.